a child falls sick too often, do you think COVID has a role to play in your child's immunity? Do you think that all we do as parents these days is discuss the new illnesses and viruses that are out there? And how does one actually improve their child's immunity is always on our mind. Hi, this is Jesal and welcome to Little Joy's Unbox Parenting, where we discuss modern parenting in the Indian context. And I'm very excited to have Dr. Shrunal Kamdar, who is a pediatrician and a friend, and has joined us here today to discuss immunity.
Thank you, Jesal, for having me over and discuss a topic like immunity. Immunity as a term is used very loosely today, and let's just clarify some doubts around it.
So Shrunal, I want to ask you right at the top, is COVID responsible for our children falling sick again and again?
Yes, but not directly. It's an indirect way of approach. So if you know COVID, what happened is kids got inbound.
Yeah.
They were most of the times at home. So the exposures with otherwise they would have had generally helps them in building up the immunity or the herd immunity.
Yeah.
Something that works like vaccine boosters.
Yeah.
But that did not happen. So now we see that exposures have gone up, and so has the flared up reactions of the body.
Okay.
So we can say falling sick again and again has nothing to do with immunity, but it's because of the absence of natural exposures to those viruses or pathogens.
So when you say that kids did not get exposed to certain pathogens during lockdown,
Right.
what happened after that? So how does one get exposed?
It is more age appropriate, but generally if I say so, then very young kids, they start from strolling in the parks to playing in the gardens, to beaches, restaurants. So crowded and not crowded places equally. And then we grow up a little to schoolers. So these days there are a lot of schools which have gone fully air conditioned. And again, the problem there can be the rebreathing of the same air, which could have been infected. Unless of course they put in filters, but again that is also not like 100% sure. So these are the exposures which generally a child would have, which they didn't have in lockdown.
Okay.
So when they started getting exposed here, the situations changed.
So then they started getting infections which they otherwise didn't get for a year or year and a half. And because they didn't get those infections, their immune system wasn't mature enough to handle it when they started getting exposed.
And it just came together suddenly. That would have been a stepwise infection, let's say so.
Yeah.
But they was all together and the body didn't know what should I do.
Yeah.
So it started throwing up much severe reactions.
Understood. So I'd like to understand the basics first. Like, what is immunity?
In simple terms, immunity is the body's ability to fight any organism or pathogen, virus, bacteria, fungus, whatever.
Okay.
So that is immunity. And that is the body's natural mechanism to throw out whatever is not a part of the body. So typically in a medical term, if you ask me, then a low immunity is a scenario where a particular child is undergoing hospital admissions or needing IV situations in form of medicines, even for smaller infections, which otherwise could have gotten better.
Okay.
Just being by home or a outpatient treatment.
Okay. So basically that child's body is not adequately fighting that infection.
Yes.
So in medical terms, that is
low.
what is low immunity.
What you say, low immunity, weak immunity,
Okay.
any of those scenarios.
Okay. And also I realize that because we have a lot of friends who have, kids who are now toddlers, I feel like every time I talk to a parent, they are only discussing how their child has either been sick recently or is currently sick.
Right.
So is it true that illnesses and overall even lab tests for kids have gone up in the past 1 year?
Very true, they have. So where a child would have probably undergone 1 to 2 tests in a year have gone up to as much as 4 to 6 times in a year. Now I don't have any study to support it, but they are just on personal experiences.
Yeah.
So even if I say that tests have doubled or tripled, yes, they have. Now the reason being that because of the COVID scenarios, post-COVID scenarios, other multiple viruses and organisms have started mutating and they're getting stronger and they are newer even to the doctor community.
Oh.
So as a doctor, I don't want to miss out on anything.
Yeah.
And also there are parental apprehensions as well.
Yeah.
So the best is to give a good thorough history and trust your doctor's judgment for whatever tests need to be done.
So talking about fever, what is a pediatrician's perspective on high fever or recurring fever?
So let's understand fever first. So fever is the body's natural mechanism to fight any infection in terms of virus, bacteria, pathogens, etc. So that is fever. Now, as we know, the viruses have started mutating and they are getting stronger. So the body is spending more energy into fighting them, and that is why higher and repeated occurrences of the fever. So that is why you may feel that my child has got better just now, let's say a week back, and now again he's fallen ill. So it could be because of older infections flaring up again,
Okay.
or the newer infections absolutely new in nature. So that is a fever.
So is fever really good or bad?
So fever can be good because we know that immunity is working. However, high fever can have the complications, so parents need to be observant about it.
So just last month, my son had a fever of 105, and that's the highest it's ever been. I thought that the thermometer was not working. I tried 3 thermometers and obviously called my pediatrician, called you, and I said I'm rushing him to the hospital because I don't know how to handle this. So I want to understand, parents can really push the panic button when it comes to high fever. And some believe that it can also cause brain damage. So can you shed some light on this?
Definitely. So actually, the reactions of the parents to fevers like 104 or 5, rather of late 103 also, is very justified. Well, I totally accept it. And yes, we do definitely say that the brain damage, or actually let's understand it's more like the tissue damage. So the heat of the fever, which is crossing anywhere from 106, leads to a scenario where the actual panic button is for everybody in general.
Okay.
But of late, even we are seeing the fevers which are going as high as 104 or 5. However, as the viruses have started getting stronger, so has the reactions. And that is why this fever is not very bothersome.
Okay.
But again, we have to be careful. It's definitely a mixed bag. Like 103 for an infection of a bacteria to 103 of a virus, both need different treatments.
Okay.
So obviously as a parent, you can't take the call. You have to involve your pediatrician, and always your doctor will be in the loop. And because of the general people awareness, this is very good for everybody.
And also running the right tests at the right time.
Yes.
So
definitely.
then you know that, okay, even if it's high, blood work is normal, so there's nothing to panic about. It will eventually come down.
Yes.
Right. So I usually wait for a day if my son is showing symptoms of fever, and then I go to the pediatrician. Some people wait 2 days before calling their pediatrician. What, according to you, are the signs we should look out for, and when should we actually take our child to the doctor or the hospital?
So this has various opinions, and to each his own. Nothing is right or wrong. And also you must believe a lot on the parental instincts. Like you know the tendency of your child to have a certain degree of fever or a certain reaction to the fever. So you can start involving your doctors right at the start, or it is even good to wait for a day and then involve, depending on your child's condition and the temperature of the fever at that particular time. But also you must keep looking out for other symptoms that start developing. Like if you just say like something like respiratory, a simple cough and cold, or there's some redness of the eyes, some watering from the eyes, some frontal headaches if they have any, or vomiting, loose motions, or they're extremely tired, they're very lazy, they've stopped responding to you, they're sleeping for long hours. So these are just to name a few where, or your child is just not eating or drinking, or he's passing less amount of urine compared to his usual day. Then yes, these are some signs where you need to have a doctor involvement. Then this is a good time to hit the panic button and see a doctor.
So, besides giving paracetamol, there's not much really a parent can do to help a child who has high fever. They don't eat, they're very lethargic, they have body aches and pains, and it's really a difficult sight to see. So is there anything we can do at home to help them, recover faster or to get better sooner?
Yes, definitely. So as you said, giving paracetamol is a welcome. Please give a paracetamol because that is the first step,
Yeah.
which will help the child remove the uncomfortability given by the fever.
Yeah.
Apart from that, you have to identify with the temperature, as in if it's like 103 or 4 and you know it's rising.
Yeah.
Then the next best option is, if your child is in a capacity, then take him for a bath. Just place him under the tap water for a minute or so, and probably after that you can expect some level of reduction. The other option is, off the fans, ACs of the room, uncover your child and make sure your child is comfortable, and then start cleaning the child right from head to toe with normal water. Please remember this, using of ice cold water, which we think will help, but it doesn't. It is more detrimental, and there can be a situation where the fever may rise after this.
Oh, okay.
It's a body's mechanism.
Yeah.
And the child may also have more shivering.
Okay.
So the best is to use tap water.
Okay.
And also try and not use very strong antipyretic medications because they come in the way of the treatment.
Okay.
So just do all these basic things, and of course after that you're going to have to see your doctor.
So I remember when I used to get fever as a child, my parents used to use ice cold water on me and I used to shake. I used to feel so cold. But you're saying that you're not supposed to use cold water at all?
No.
Okay.
I definitely I'm saying this, that we are not supposed to use cold water because as you just said, it causes shivering.
Okay.
And it is the body's mechanism to hold back the heat.
Okay.
So then you are sort of helping the fever. Okay, you keep on increasing in the temperature. So don't do that.
So that's a great myth to bust. And I think one other point I'd want to mention is, the fact that kids tend to not eat. They lose appetite when they have high fever.
Yeah.
But as parents and grandparents, we can't see a child not eating for 3-4 days at a stretch.
Yes.
So what is your thought on like food and nutrition, when a child has high fever?
So when a child has high fever, we must understand that the child is uncomfortable. And when he is uncomfortable, he is not going to be able to eat come what may, because he's not in a capacity to take in anything. So at this point of time, please don't force him, because that can lead to vomiting also.
Oh, okay.
So the best option is that stick to your liquids, especially water, because they're going to sweat it out eventually and they're losing a lot of hydration.
Yeah.
So replenish all the hydration with sips of water.
Yeah.
But don't be very happy with the fact that I want to give him half a cup of water or 1 cup of water. Just sips of water is adequate. We don't need to go over it.
Okay.
And the other part is that you can give medications without the child eating, because these medications are made in such a way. And if your child is vomiting with those medications, wait it out. Try for a medication for vomiting, wait it out, and then help him with all the other medications. But medication and food in these scenarios have no say per se.
So parents, please take note, you can give paracetamol even on an empty stomach, because that is a very big myth that parents believe, like they will wait for a child to eat a little bit and then give paracetamol, and that is not required. So now let's come to the $1 million question. Can we work on bettering our child's immunity, and what can we do every single day to help them build a strong immunity?
Just follow a simple mantra of life: eat, drink, sleep, and digest.
Okay.
So let's take it component wise. So when we say eat, balanced meal about 3 to 4 times a day, and include every food group.
Yeah.
Carbohydrates, proteins, minerals, fats, and etc. Make sure the child is having at least 1 to 2 whole fruits in one day.
Okay.
And also make sure that the child is having some leafy vegetables.
Okay.
Always. Apart from this, keep everything else open, but this is something that is needed.
Sure.
The second is hydration. So a child needs about 7 to 8 glasses of water per day, But then this can be seasonal. So
Yeah.
when there's summertime, the glasses obviously can go up.
Yeah.
And in winter, sometimes they go low,
Yeah.
which is okay.
Yeah.
The other part is that the child should keep on consuming good amount of lime water, coconut water, homemade lassi or buttermilk on regular basis, whatever they prefer.
Yeah.
The other part is that, of course, there's going to be dals and soup as a part of the meal, which is a welcome.
Yeah.
But at the same time, please avoid any sugary drinks or any carbonated drinks.
Yeah.
Third, sleep. Sleep is a very important part of building the child's immunity, because when the child is sleeping, the body is working.
Yeah.
And it is working uninterrupted.
Yeah.
So that is why the development is always better.
Okay.
So if you're looking at any child for today, we need at least 9 to 11 hours of uninterrupted continuous sleep,
Wow. Okay.
which is very difficult, but we must start working on it.
Yeah.
Fourth, digest. As gross as it may sound, a parent should definitely keep an eye on the child's nature, consistency and frequency of the poop,
Yeah.
because that is where we know if the child is harboring any illnesses.
Yeah.
And also make an effort to tell the child's body clock, the biological clock, to pass motion at a particular given time every day,
Yeah.
which is again an important part, because gut is a seat of a lot of infections.
Yeah. Yeah.
So start working on it. Additionally, there are 2 more parameters that we need to start working on. One of them being physical activity, so which is the playtime of the children. Make sure your child is having at least 2 to 3 hours of a good physical playtime. Can be at home, can be in the building, can be a part of any sports cultures. And the other aspect that we need to look at is vaccines.
Okay.
So each one of us should remember that vaccines are important for the child's immunity and in general the community's immunity
Yeah.
to any diseases. So please don't miss out on your vaccines and don't miss out on the boosters of the vaccines, which
Yeah.
we generally tend to miss out.
Okay.
So please don't do it.
So let's discuss some of the queries we got around immunity on our community. So we have one mother who's written in, my son is 2 years old, he's allergic and gets coughs very often, and it doesn't go without medicine. Every month or two giving antibiotics and all, very chronic cough. Any home remedies to boost his immunity or any other medicine for immunity?
So allergies are generally which are repetitive in nature and they can start from a very young age. However, one must remember that children outgrow the allergies after about 5 to 6 years of age, and
Okay.
if they don't outgrow, then it reduces in their frequency and consistency.
Okay.
So allergies is not a sign of low immunity. They are just there and your child will outgrow it.
Okay. So we have another mom who's written into us. She says, my son is 2 years old right now, and since birth he has never had milk from me. He has always been on formula. Every time he falls sick, my family and my in-laws taunt me saying that because he did not have my milk, that his immunity is compromised. Is this true?
So definitely breast milk is known to pass on a lot of good amount of antibodies to the child from a very early age. However, when a child is only formula fed and not breastfed, it does not mean that the child is going low on immunity or he will never be able to develop those antibodies.
Okay.
And your child falling sick because of the absence of these antibodies is not the reason. So it is not the mom guilty, or it's just that your child is behaving like any other child when he is exposed to a certain amount of pathogens. So it is not your fault as a mother that you could not give the immunity to the child and your child is falling sick. So you are not at fault because of this. It's the body's natural mechanism like any other breastfed child would behave.
Thank you so much, Dr. Shrunal, for joining us today and sharing some myths and facts around immunity. I'm sure it's helped all our viewers. As parents, we can't eliminate the possibility of our child falling sick. Our kids are going to go to school, they are going to play with friends, they are going to be exposed to every kind of bacteria, virus, pathogen that exists. But if we do the basics right, hopefully we make their bodies more capable of fighting the infection in a better way. So whether it's eating right, it's making sure they sleep well, it's making sure they're getting enough physical activity out in the sun. All these are building blocks for better immunity. I hope this video gave you enough information to know when to panic and when to not panic when your child falls sick. Thank you so much guys for listening in. Hope you like this video. Please like, share, subscribe and hit the bell icon to know when we release our next video. You can also download our app or visit our website to shop our products, to consult with experts and to join a parenting community. Till then, stay tuned and see you next week. Bye-bye.